For the Pacers. Wide open. Tinsley takes it in, and the floater over Divac, and the quick jumping Tinsley gets the second attempt.
Nice job to, first of all, take it to the rim because people are going to let Jamal shoot the ball, but if he attacks, he puts pressure. That's what we said. Get to the rim.
Sacramento, the highest scoring team in the NBA. They average 104 points a game. Best shooting team, also number one in three-point percentage. Christie bottled up nicely by Reggie Miller. Here's a three, but by the wrong guy. Divac hasn't hit one all year. Tinsley takes it right to Bibby. O'Neal the double team. Harrington is open. Oh, my!
Attack the rim. Make it happen. Al Harrington in that starting lineup looking to get himself going.
He had the right trajectory as he lost control of the basketball, and perhaps that may augur well for Indiana Pacers tonight. Off to a 10-4 start against the struggling Kings. Stojakovic, the quick release, doesn't need much time, and it's Tinsley once again on the move. He stops. He's set. On rebound, O'Neal makes the move on Weber, and finger rolls to the left hand, and Indiana on fire to start the ball game. They have hit 66% from the floor and take a 8-point lead, very similar to the start in the Portland game.
The real key, though, Al, is how you control yourself after the emotion.
Reggie is open. Nobody within miles. He shoots. Like, he doesn't have the flair for the dramatic. Stojakovic unselfishly giving it up, but it costs the Kings a basket. Pacers running again. Can they outrun the Kings? Tinsley puts to the fence and goes coast to coast. What a start for Indiana. They hear it from the crowd, and Rick Adelman, looking to stop the bleeding, calls a timeout as the Pacers race out to a 14-4 lead. And hear it from the crowd.
Cherokee, Wrangler, Lippert.
Special K, Bart Kellogg. The Indiana Pacers with 15 games to go. This is Christie from the outside. And he scores after Sacramento had missed their last 7 field goal attempts. 14-6 start for the Pacers. Who've won 8 of their last 9. And O'Neal draws the foul there on Chris Webber. So this Sacramento team, looking at this point, very disorganized and still readjusting now to the return of Webber. Sacramento, Quinn, they were 43 and 15 without Webber. Since he is back, a very modest 5 and 4.
Well, I think you've already touched on it. I think it has gone through a period of adjustment. They have Brad on the floor, and Brad probably, Brad healthy is obviously a good player. You're talking about a guy who made an Eastern Conference All-Star and one of the few that go right the next year and make Western Conference All-Star. So he was providing them with scoring, rebound, assist. He's a solid defensive player, and you got Chris Webber, who's probably limited by that knee.
And also, Sacramento had a chemistry going, which messes a bit with the rotation, even though they reinserted their best player from over the years. Here it is, Webber. From the outside, tries to muscle his way in.
The thing that's so bother, I think, Webber here, is Jeff is so quick, if you will. And because Webber really doesn't have that kind of footwork now, Jeff can put a lot of pressure on him.
Simply, the no-look to Miller for the finger roll.
Every time, if you notice, there's been very few jump shots here. Most of the shots are getting to the rim.
Webber going to go to work again. And this time he is fouled by Jeff Foster. Foster getting the top assignment, has to muscle with Webber. Jeff had his difficulties Wednesday, picking up 4 personal fouls, only played 14 minutes against Portland. And that was some trouble because Zach Randolph was his assignment. And Brad Miller steps on the floor for the first time. Last year as a Pacer, this year as a King. Career across the board in points, rebounds, and assists. And an all-star in the West as he was in the East. And returns here to Indiana for the first time. So, The stomach is turning. This is a game he has circled on his calendar.
As much as Jimmy Simmons, right?
Yes. And he had a triple-double to lead Sacramento over the Pacers. 91-88 in the game that Ron Artest did not play in the second half. And still the Kings have their difficulties putting the Pacers away. And they're having their difficulty stopping Jermaine O'Neal, who already is struck for 9. That's 1 point less than he had all game against Portland. And we've played only 6+ minutes. Sacramento down to 3 seconds.
Can't let him get a shot off.
Holds around. And a reset of the 24. Stojakovic, forget about it. He had just too much room. And he hits his first field goal. Stojakovic scored only 6 points until late in the first half of their first game. That's when Ron Artest, unwarranted, was thrown out of the game, ejected. And from that point on, Stojakovic then would go on to score 21 points without Artest. So Pedro, the happiest man in the building when he heard that Artest was suspended for tonight's game. The lead to Tinsley, and he is blocked from behind by Christie. Fast break now for Sacramento. Christie, who would find defensive players in the league, gets back in a hurry. Miller his first shot, and there it is.
Well, there's one thing that you have to keep in mind. I see Rick Carlisle putting his hands to get everybody to stay poised. You cannot take for granted any offensive possession with these teams. They shoot jump shots, but they are the best shooting team in the league.
And Christie from behind. Hopefully a hard foul there. Out of frustration. So Tinsley has been called for 2 personal fouls, and they have been basically video replay. So Christie had just blocked Tinsley, and Tinsley looking to get back.
And he's trying to get back in the game. You see coming there, Doug Christie has been here coming over to help. He is one of the top defensive players in the league. Comes across the backside, gets it on the pass.
And he is their defensive catalyst.
He really is.
Starts it from that end of the floor and gets that fast break going. Tinsley gets the seat. Not only the second foul, but Rick Carlisle wants to cool him off, as you can see how hyped up Jamal is tonight, and they have called that a clear pass foul.
Well, what the man who he was throwing to was Christie, had a clear pass, and the interpretation that they're using is that when Jamal fouled Christie to throw the pass, he couldn't be throwing to himself. When he was throwing the ball up to Bibby, Bibby had a clear pass to the basket. I've not ever heard it called that way before.
I have never heard it called that far away from the basket.
I agree with you. That's what I mean. I've never heard it called quite like that before.
Deep in the backcourt. So the Kings have quietly pulled to within 5. Harrington trying to glue himself to Stojakovic. And the foul outside is called on Jermaine O'Neal as Brad Miller makes the move. The Sacramento team has won 49 and lost 19. And they have played virtually the entire season without their best player and have vied for the best record and have led the powerful West and are up by 4 games over the Lakers in the Pacific Division. 3 games over Minnesota for the #1 spot in the West. 4 minutes left in the first. Pacers racing out to the early 11-point lead. Anthony Johnson has replaced Jamal Tinsley. Fred Jones now in for Reggie Miller. Harrington goes to work on Stojakovic. And Miller clears the board. Fred Miller, the 7th leading rebounder in the league at 11 per. 1 knock ahead of Jermaine O'Neal. Weber continues to the late whistle there. And a foul against the Pacers. And it's against Freddie Jones. And this crowd, another call Foster. That is his 2nd.
Well, we'll get a chance to take a look because, I thought Jeff was there. The only thing they can call him for possibly being in, if you will, he's got his foot clearly on the line where you're not allowed to take the charge.
Crowd upset. That's sending back to Wednesday when Foster got in early foul trouble, but the Pacers were outshot at the foul line by the Trailblazers, staggering 25-6. When's the last time you heard a team shoot only 6 foul shots for an entire ball game? And right now, Chris Webber getting plenty of time to towel off. And the Pacers will call a full timeout to give him some more time to get ready for these foul shots.
Hopefully he'll continue to have it after this game.
Jermaine O'Neal buries the ball. He has 11 of the Pacers' 21 points. Stojakovic another three.
You got to get to him right away. This is really going to be a challenge for Jonathan Bender. We need to watch this because Jonathan's nature is not, I don't think he's ever really seen or played against anybody that can stick the ball like Pacers Stojakovic.
He's the fifth leading three-point shooter in the NBA. And Bender back the other way. He can do it himself. And likewise, on the flip side, Pacers never seen anything like Jonathan Bender. The question is, when will Bender be able to do it on the consistent basis that we see Pacers Stojakovic? There's the quick release.
Jonathan got off the challenge that one. His coaching staff, Mike Brown, was up and telling them, hey, stay up on him as a shooter. Don't worry about him driving.
Interesting matchup now with Harrington remaining on the floor. Stojakovic comes out. Stojakovic, in his sixth season from Yugoslavia, he has become an all-star and a shooting sensation. Larry Bird called him the best shooter in the league. Austin Crozier is now on for Indiana, and Crozier has really been contributing to Pacers, and Crozier is terrific against Portland to start the fourth quarter. Harrington gets his first rest. So Crozier goes up against good friend Brad Miller. And Webber
tried to take advantage of him right away, too.
Bibby on the hustle. Miller can't hold on. Here's Crozier breaking away with Stojakovic. He had three teammates behind him, but he didn't pick him up until now.
He was being cautious with the ball because he mishandled it, and he was, the Pacers had three other guys down there. Take your choice, Austin.
He was looking all the way down the floor, kind of blindsided. So Jonathan Bender in 2 minutes has struck for 5 points. Stojakovic, too much time. And Bender high over Brad Miller. Stojakovic pokes it out of bounds. And it's Pacers ball. Why don't you get the latest and greatest Pacers info on Pacers.com. Ask the coach, the question of the day, in-depth game previews and analysis, plus register to become a Pacers insider with the real inside story. It's all available only on Pacers.com. And read more about tonight's showdown. Jonathan Bender putting away on fire. He has come in, he has hit 3 in a row, and 7 quick points for Bender, and that ties the Pacers' biggest lead. Rick Bernhard whistles this one down.
Throws it on Austin and said that he pulled Chris Webber out of position. It looks like a little bit of both of them were involved in this match. Right here, take a look. You see that throw right there. They felt Austin, in order to get position, threw Webber out of the way.
Pacers already over the limit. There's been one personal foul called on the Kings, and that's 3 misses in a row for Webber from the line. He was missed 0 for 5 from the floor and 2 for 5 from the foul line. Webber playing his 10th game since returning from the knee surgery. Happened in May in the second game of the playoffs against Dallas. Series with the Mavericks averaged 27 games. Go with the hot man, Bender, making Stojakovic work. He gets by him, and the foul. And Pacers Stojakovic cannot stay with a long and lean jumping Jonathan Bender.
Well, this accomplishes 2 things. Another thing you have to find out is who can play in an NBA game. And we put a lot of pressure on Stojakovic to try to have to guard a guy who can really score the ball, who is actually bigger in terms of overall size from head to toe, and probably quicker. So it's a good place for Jonathan to get tested. So far here, early in the test, he's passed.
Why the Pacers 15-17? There's great players like Jermaine O'Neal, John Artest All-Stars, a 5-time All-Star Reggie Miller, but it's the depth, it's the resiliency, and with each injury, somebody has stepped up, and tonight Jonathan Bender's getting the opportunity for the Pacers as they head in the playoffs. Have to find out some answers about some of the young players like Bender and guys off the bench. Backdoor Weber, and there it is Bender very aggressively going upstairs to thwart the attempt by Weber and send him back to the foul line.
Well, screen and roll action. You got to play off the screen. Either jump shots coming sometimes layup. Pass comes, Bender reads, comes across the top, makes sure that Weber cannot get it in. Bender all over the rim.
Well, Pacers are back to action right here on Fox Sports Net on Monday. Another former Pacer returns to Conseco Fieldhouse. Antonio Davis and the Chicago Bulls. Coverage begins with Pacer game night at 6:30, and it's only on Fox Sports Net. Weber comes back at the foul line to make those with 7 points tonight. Check that 5 points, 5 of 8 from the line. He's already in double figures. And he didn't get off the bench.
That was
until 3 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, Al. I know you were working on the calculation there. I'm sorry.
11 points in 3 minutes.
Quite impressive, man. He just took a shot that nobody could keep him together.
But in the end, the Pacers have come out very physical. Sacramento's go for the basket, starting with that third foul by Tinsley against Bibby. They're going to pay a price. So Crozier gets his second personal foul, and this will send Bibby to the line. Sacramento one shy of that 50-win mark. They have won 50 games or more in each of the last 4 seasons, 59 last year, 61 the year before, and a mere 55 the year before that. The Sacramento tonight have made 5 field goals in the first, but 10 foul shots. Crozier, got a foul. Austin Crozier beats the buzzer to put the exclamation point on a sensational first quarter for the Pacers, going head-to-head with the Sacramento Kings. Pacers put 35 on the very aggressive Jonathan Bender, who is just 5 points outside of his season high.
Boy, get Rodney Buford involved in the game. That time, Brad Miller kicked it out to him.
And I know you were wondering, over a 48-minute period, Jonathan Bender, to keep this pace, would end up with 132 points.
Yeah, you know I was wondering that one. Lob. There's Bender. Goodbye. Keep him in lob.
Freddie Jones going to the hot man, and right now, in this 5-minute span, the Indiana Pacers are seeing the best of Jonathan Bender. Buford puts up another shot. Rebound pushing off on his former teammate, Scott Pollard. Kind of getting lost in all of this is Scott Pollard. This is a big night for him, going up against his former team, the Sacramento Kings.
See, cutting through was Freddie. And there's Jonathan for the big finish.
I'm getting called for the foul. So right now, the Indiana Pacers have the Sacramento Kings heads just turning. Pacers against Portland the other night also had a 13-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Likewise, this evening against Sacramento.
The difference out is this is the unit that didn't play well. The second unit didn't play well against Portland and caused all the problems for the Pacers. So far, they're playing quite well.
Bender on the board. Bender with the finish. Bender unstoppable.
They're playing with Jonathan Bender. There's 9 other guys just watching Jonathan play.
6 of 6 from the field, 15 points in 6 minutes of playing time. Pacers by 15, and that's what Bender has. Anthony Taylor, 3-point threat. And right now, Sacramento completely out of their offense. They're just keeping up long jumpers, trying to make up that lead in a hurry. Johnson, Crozier tries by Miller, and look looking for the stuff, and right now, the pace is free and easy in a zone. They give the foul on Bibby, and that is his second. Reggie Miller cheering on the sideline. He's cheerleading right now. He gets his second unit pumping. He was this time in the game against Portland where the second unit came in, and that's when Portland made their run. But it was early in the fourth quarter when Rick Carlisle once again went to the reserve.
Produced, and you're right. In the fourth quarter, they definitely produced, and probably gave them some confidence here. It's a little bit. The only thing that's slightly different, Al Harrington was on the floor instead of Scott Collins, but I think this is the ideal situation for both. Al is starting with Scott Collins to play against his former team. He knows this team in and out. There's also a guy out that doesn't need the ball quite as much offensively. I think that helps.
Anthony Taylor off balance, not a good shot, but nothing but net. Sacramento has not lost more than 2 in a row this year, and they've lost the first 2 games of this road trip in New Jersey and in Washington. They'll be on Sunday against Houston. Johnson, way off the mark, was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, so also it's a game of note for him, although that was many years ago. And
a couple of teams, yeah, exactly.
Sacramento, we're talking about Weber coming back, but the guy I think they missed the most is Bobby Jackson.
Yeah.
He's been out with an abdominal strain the last 15 games. And this guy, the straw that stirs the drink, and gets the triple out there.
Well, he said it so well that when Mike Bibby was out last year, actually early this year, when Mike Bibby was out, there was some talk about, this guy was playing well enough to be an all-star. And off the bench, Bobby Johnson, and they don't have him in the lineup. I find working out prior to the game. Look at him. You're talking about an energizer bunny on both sides of the ball.
Mike Bibby on the bench now with the 2 personal fouls. He has scored 20 or more in 7 of the last 9 ball games. 6 early in the first. And Taylor with the 2. Rick Adelman now going from his bench. Looking for something. Johnson fights through. Carson steps out. He takes. Puts the left. Puts. Carson. Tremendous ball pick out. Carson doing a big 11-point second half in Sacramento. Pacers are down by 16 in that game. Came back to eventually take the lead. Miller gets the inside pass and floats it in. Brad Miller with a triple-double in the first meeting. Second triple-double in his career. And now he's coming off the bench. Johnson just over-dribbling there and loses to Buford. Fast break. Miller may have traveled. The crowd's calling it.
No, he traveled. The ref just didn't call him. The crowd was right.
Not enough whistles distributed in the crowd. The double team on Divac. You hear a whistle here. And Scott Pollard has foul number 2. We have a timeout.
Yeah, what happened was the official saw the second. But, in games, Al, you've been at this a long time. You take whatever break you can get, because he can just as easily go the other way.
And Sabine O'Neill has seen many go the other way. So Divac, who claims to be 36 years old and continues to go and to be such an important figure, the glue guy, and he keeps this team together in many ways. Jonathan Bender, guarded by the smaller Buford. Tinsley rises for a shot.
Rare shot off the dribble.
Overplay, Kozer kicks it away from Miller. Kozer all the way. Kozer gets fouled. And it is exhausting Austin out of the gate tonight.
Well, Austin played good. He got some extended minutes in the Sacramento game there. He played well there. He does a good job here anticipating the pass, gets his hand on it. What's interesting, he goes with his left hand. Nobody shuts him off until it's too late. You got a foul shooter going to the foul line after some dandy defensive work.
He only played 7 minutes against Portland, but brought such tremendous energy. And it was kind of a non-box score type of ball game for Crozier. That's the early mark. And the hand with Al Harrington coming in is to Jonathan Bender. Many of the fans here in Indiana Seeing Jonathan Bender in his 5th season, 5th pick overall. You trade for Antonio Davis, and tonight certainly seeing the signs, and have been since Jonathan came back from his injury, of what Donnie Walsh had in mind with Bender. He certainly brings the spectacular to the floor for the Pacers. None more so than in this ball game tonight. Chris Webber is back in, and there he goes to the foul line again. That's the 3rd foul on Austin Crozier. Crozier hit the 3 in Sacramento after the Pacers trailed by 16 to put Indiana in front with 3 minutes to go. 88-87. Then Vlade Divac, about 10 seconds later, hit a field goal. That would be the last field goal of the ball game. They went the last 3 minutes. Now Austin Crozier hearing it from the crowd. 11 points in a hurry. Awesome Crozier.
Boy, he ran tonight. And you know what was impressive is not only making the shots here in the first half, but he was solid defensively. And at some points in Austin's game, I mean, that's where he is vulnerable, and he was able to step up and close that gap in terms of his defensive ability.
Jermaine O'Neal fades away, and he's got it. Well, before that basket, Crozier and Bender had combined for all of the second quarter points for the Pacers. Christie with the left hand. There is Webber. And that is the first field goal for Webber in the game after missing his first 5 attempts. But he's been at the foul line already for 10 shots. And a timeout taken by Rick Carlisle. So with 6:24 to go, up 2 personal fouls in that first quarter, and comes out with a burst of energy midway in the second quarter. Pacers at 50-17, a game and a half out of Sacramento. The win here tonight would give them a 2.5 game victory over the Kings, and the Pacers have a more favorable schedule the rest of the way than the Kings. There's the pitch, and Indiana with the ball. So it's Simply and Miller with Foster, Harrington, and O'Neal. Reggie Miller will put it in play. 15 games to go. Pacers have 9 at home. Sacramento only 6 of their 14, and Sacramento 11 games against 500 ball players. Some of the tough teams in the West they still have to navigate through. 6 seconds to shoot. O'Neal way outside. And stolen by Webber.
They still have to play Minnesota, Houston. They play all the big games. I guess the Lakers may be the only thing they don't.
No, they do play the Lakers. Harrington and stay out of it. Reunited. Cross court. Wide open. Simply. Simply looking to shoot. He has not been shooting over the last 2 ball games. And here's Foster trying to outrun Taylor, and he is fouled.
Nice job at that time by Foster just to get out and chase the ball, because Reggie threw a pass, and it looked almost like Anthony Taylor had a better chance to get it. You see Reggie, he leaves it. You see Taylor come in, and he tries to get a hand on it, and the Pacers thought that Jeff was pushed out by Anthony Taylor.
Couple of shots now for Jeff Foster at the line, looking for his first point. He turns the first one. Kings will still have 2 games left with the Lakers. Two with Houston. Also a game against Minnesota, and they're at San Antonio and at Dallas. Jeff Foster steps up to the foul line and gives Indiana a 14-point lead, coming down to 5 minutes left for the first half. Pacers, after win number 51, has put up 51 points on the board already. The 3. And Pinkley with a quick pass. Pass to Reggie Miller. He made a great pass. Blue classic for fast break layup. Wheel it back the other way. Miller blocked by O'Neal, who saves it. Indiana running it again. The heat to Harrington. And And a kick by Stojakovic. And right now, the Indiana Pacers running their teams into the hardwood floor. And they hear it again from the crowd. Pinpoint precision. Simply right on the money to Reggie for the finger roll reverse.
And what makes that such a great pass is off the dribble, it's one hand, and he threads the needle. This applause is for the effort as much as the basket, because the effort has been outstanding in the first 16 minutes here.
And the Pacers are pumped with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Simply off the screen. There's the three. Really doing everything but hitting the shot. His shooting has been remarkable of late, but 2 of 9 this evening. Stojakovic, a quick release. Run down by Kessie.
If you think this team is stop shooting threes, then forget about it. That's what they do.
And backing in is Stojakovic. Throws the foul on Harrington. Just the first on Al. Score the lead. Pacers Stojakovic with 25 points per ball game. There's only 6 right now, and this is what he had against Indiana at this point in Sacramento. And that's when Ron Artest was ejected. Pacers would then pull a steady run the rest of the way without being hounded by Ron. And that's a rarity. This is the leading foul shooter in the league at 92%. Missing his first one shooter, Pacers Stojakovic, in his 6th season. Emerging into one of the great stars in the NBA. And perhaps the purest shooter. O'Neal over Weber. A Bibby now. Trying to avoid Dicey Foster. Picked off by Tinsley. Another steal for him. Jump pass to O'Neal on the run. And Jamal Tinsley really pushing the pace. The Pacers, with a fast break going, they understand that the Kings are not known for their transition defense. And beating them back, and they are pouring in the points and shooting at 56% from the floor.
Typical of most teams that will run, Al, they do not run back. And the Pacers are making them pay, trying to get to the front of the rim.
Very difficult to run in both directions.
Takes a lot of energy. Yeah, you got to get in shape for that.
Jermaine O'Neal, in 8 games here in March, double-doubles on 6 occasions, as he is now forging his way towards the Pacers' single-season mark of 47, set by Bart Kellogg in the Special Case rookie season. 14 to 2 fast break points, Pacers leading. Big Fields helping them get out on the break. Miller, no. That's got altered by O'Neal. Now Reggie running. Looks for Tinsley, and he can't hold on. Looking to reciprocate after one of the finest plays of this first half.
Bibby got his hand on the ball. Reggie threw it. And when Tinsley thought it was going to bounce in the direction he thought it was going to bounce, it got changed, and Bibby got his hand on it.
Only the 4th turnover by Indiana in a near perfect first half. 56% from the floor. They held the Kings at 31%. Is the best shooting and top scoring team in the league. He's held at 38 so far. And Stojakovic, sometimes you forget how fluid he is. 6'10" and 230.
And they traded, in order to get Brad minutes, they traded away. You know, Turner is 16 as well, right? They thought he was like a second coming into the year, for lack of a better term, of Pacers Stojakovic. So they had a lot of guys on the team last year.
Trying to get Al Harrington going inside. There's the double team. It leaves O'Neal open. Indiana finding the open man, Harrington. Noticing the double team. And the Pacers now on their way to a 60-point first half against the Kings.
You don't see many double team off of Jermaine.
It's not. And Weber, good for him, hitting an outside shot. Weber's finest hour came against the Pacers 3 years ago in Sacramento. 51 points, along with 26 rebounds in the game. game in which the Pacers won in overtime. Sacramento's won 3 straight from Indiana, but before that it was all Pacers. And a rolling left-hander by Al Harrington.
Oh, that's pulling one out of the back of six there. Al Mooney loves to get to the jump shot, not to the rim.
Pacers are 9-2 with Harrington inserted as a starter. Weber. Chris Weber.
He is going to compete. He is double teamed. He got that one.
Pacers without their premier defensive player. Probably the premier defensive player in the NBA, and they are holding the Kings to just 44 here in the first half. They average 104 a game, but now the Kings getting it running. And they do it 50 before the half is up. Stojakovic doesn't have anything. Dipping to the three.
Got Jermaine caught. Oh, I was going to take a timeout. They got Jermaine caught out on the point with Bibby out there. That's a three-point ready to happen there.
Yeah, the Pacers talk it over.
And the ball said, don't be afraid of greatness. Greatness will not.
Chris Weber here in Indiana for the first time this season. Pacers hope to see him again. This is 3 years ago. Pacers finding out how tough it is to stop Chris Weber. January of 2001, that feed from Jason Williams, who the Pacers will see tomorrow in Memphis. But 51 points to go along with 26 rebounds. Weber won the battle, but the Pacers won the war in overtime. 47 shots in that game. I think he's nearing that already here tonight.
He has to have a storm after that 40-plus shots. It's just so low.
Posier's back in for the final minute. Johnson, he was open. Posier, 5 seconds to shoot. 3 seconds, fades away. And a reset at 24, Rick Carlisle wants to hold. Part of what Rick talked about in that timeout is you work so hard for the lead. And with Sacramento tipping under double figures going into the locker room.
Well, they just want them to close it out strong. Make sure you make solid plays. Don't try anything tricky.
O'Neal fades. 3 seconds. Brad Miller being contained by Crozier. And not enabling the Sacramento Kings to get the ball. He certainly had enough time. So Brad Miller, triple-double in the first game, held to only 3 field goals in the first half. And the Pacers, with 58 on the board, lead by 11 on Fox Sports Net.
Have to continue to challenge the shots as well as the passes.
Jamal Tinsley with Christie on him. O'Neal from deep. And it's run down by Mike Bibby. Bibby in the backcourt with Doug Christie. Divac with Stojakovic and Weber up front. Weber getting the inside track, but it's Foster who finally rips it down. 5th rebound for Foster. So right at Jermaine O'Neal working on Divac, who had those 2 quick personal fouls. 10 seconds still on the shot clock. O'Neal tries baseline, finds Foster waiting and ready. And Indiana hits the 60 mark, a 13-point hold over the Sacramento Kings. Pacers coming in, having won 8 of their last 9, and 15 of 17 here at home. Long rebound to Bibby. And the Sacramento Kings start out misfiring in the second half, just as they did in the first. Tinsley, the sharp move. Foster. 5 seconds to shoot. Tinsley with the drop-off. Foster had to work hard to muscle in and put a little bit too much on the shot.
Roddy made sure there was no clean shot for Jeff Foster.
Bibby looking for his shot. Got it. He has been the hot man for Sacramento over the last couple of weeks. 20 points or more in 7 of the last 9 games, including a season-high 31 against the Lakers. And he has 11 tonight. Weber. So Weber, the defensive move, sends O'Neal flying, and Reggie getting a good look. Only the fourth shot for Reggie Miller, right on the ball. Harrington deflects off of a King and out of bounds, but no, Tom Washington. One of the officials says Sacramento ball. Ted Bernhardt made the first call, said it would be Pacer ball. And right now, Rick Carlisle is siding with Bernhardt.
You get a chance to see. I thought it dropped off the foot. Unless Reggie touched it, I thought it dropped off the foot of Chris Webber.
But the Kings get it, but not for long. Jermaine O'Neal upstairs for the rebound. 16 points, 6 boards. O'Neal looking for his 7th double-double in the last 8 games. Tinsley, the Heat. And not a good shooting night for Jamal. 2 of 10 from the floor. They've been hitting it 53% over the last dozen ball games.
Pacers trying to get a little stagnant offensively as well.
Weber wide open. 14 points now for Weber.
And here you got to look for an opportunity again. Remember how the Pacers started getting to the rim? You got to look to see can you get that. You always got Jermaine guarded right there by Weber. Weber got a hand on that one.
So the Sacramento Kings get the deficit under double figures. Christie, yeah, who was not as if those Sacramento King uniforms aren't distinctive enough.
He had to. That was to nobody.
Harrington fights his way through, and it's Stojakovic who picks up that second personal foul. Let's check now with Scott Holt has been hovering around the Pacers bench. Scott?
Well, in the locker room at halftime, Al, the Pacers talked about the energy. I spoke with assistant coach Dan Burke. He said they really liked the energy. He said the Pacers' execution was terrific. They can get any shot they want as long as they execute. They want to keep the energy up and grind Sacramento out of it. He said the only thing they didn't like was Sacramento's second chance points, and that's what's kept them in the game so far, guys.
There's a second chance point by Jeff Foster. After the Pacers did not execute in those 24 seconds, but Indiana by 11. Bibby looking for the basket and getting it again. 13 points now for Bibby, trying to get his team back in this game. The Kings not lost 3 in a row this year. And coming in, having lost in Washington and in New Jersey. Harrington is in, gets another shot at it.
No, he traveled. It never hit the rim.
Well, it certainly looked like somebody was dragging him down from behind.
I'll agree with that. He definitely got grabbed on the arm.
Only the 5th turnover by the Pacers in this ball game. Stojakovic. Levi steps up for the little hook. Sacramento tonight, 18 of 49, 37%.
There you go. Let's start pounding it inside.
Of course, both Divac and Weber were there, but right now the officials tonight have Vlade's number.
On the mind.
Number 21, they make the call, and it's his 3rd. So Divac, who had a double-double against the Pacers in the first meeting and hit the game winner, can't get started tonight. 3rd foul, takes a long look to make sure, and then heads to the bench. So with Divac out, it means that Brad Miller is in. Brad Miller coming off the bench. Numbers have been pretty much similar to what he's been putting up as a starter in less minutes. O'Neal gets by Weber, and they're going to call the foul outside before the shot. Weber nailed for his second, so Jermaine O'Neal trying to navigate the Kings into some difficult foul numbers up front. Over 5 minutes gone by. Rick Adelman has seen his team lose not only 2 in a row, but 3 of their last 4. Miller goes left, gets the foul, and Christie has his second personal foul. That's the 3rd for the Kings in the quarter. Pacers with 0.
Good play calling here. You see Reggie with his move go towards the baseline, and then as at that time Christie was closing, Christie got hit in the mouth. If he was trying to close on Reggie, got his lip busted. and the foul. That's a bad feeling.
That's a definite no-win situation. He's going to take the time to try to get it together. Tough for customer, and Christie's come back from knee injuries. Many thought that his career was over years ago. Lindsey Miller spikes from the foul line. And Christie makes the ball too far in place. Pacers by 11. Bibby's in the hot hand for the Kings here in this third quarter. And a quick whistle there with Christie digging in among some of the bigger Pacers. O'Neal is hit with his second personal foul. Jermaine O'Neal, legitimate candidate for MVP this season.
Oh, no question about that.
20 points, 10 rebounds, leading the Pacers to the best record at this point. First 50-game winner. Christie, first foul shot is good. He was one King who showed up in Washington, but he was 7 of 10 for 17 points. But Christie tonight, 1 of 7 from the floor. 64-55, Kings hanging around, despite the fact that they're shooting under 40%. Tinsley right into the hands of Stojakovic, and Miller fouled him. So Jamal Tinsley, early in the game, got into it with Bibby and also with Christie, and seems to be taking this one personally. And this is a different Tinsley we've seen the last few ball games, where he's been in control and very prudent with his shot and selection. Putting up the ball quickly here tonight. That's an errant pass to Telegraph.
Tried to throw it across the court, which is always hard to do. And he really has struggled, just staying focused here. Just seeing what has been working for the team and been able to put the ball in the position, like Jermaine O'Neal on Weber or Al Harrington or Stojakovic. That's where the ball has to go. That's what your point guard needs to look to do.
And Carlisle makes the move. Tinsley goes to the bench, and Anthony Johnson comes in. Foster. Harrington. There's Foster scrapping. Oh, he got it with one arm and fouled by Miller. What a play by the feisty one. The Kings grabbed his other arm. He still went to work. And we have a timeout here on Indy.
Health and Life Moments. Brought to you by St. Vincent. At St. Vincent, the spirit of caring is demonstrated by our associates each day.
Life at St. Vincent is more than a job. It's a healthcare ministry. Our associates are the heart of that ministry. We are called to provide a work environment that enables healthcare that's safe, healthcare that works, and healthcare that leaves no one behind. If you'd like to be a part of a special ministry, call us today and learn about the spirit of caring.
For a free physician referral, more information, or career opportunities, call 338-CARE.
This is the one Ford sales event with a deal on F-150 you've been waiting for. $269 a month. This is on the one that Motor Trend shows as its 2004 Truck of the Year. The next F-150. The one with the most payload and torque in its class. This is the one Ford sales event you don't want to miss. $269 a month on the best-selling truck in America, Ford F-150. On now at your Indiana Ford store.
Here is the effort of feisty Foster inside against his good friend Brad Miller. Miller becoming an all-star in Sacramento. Foster becoming a starter. And early tonight, there is Brad Miller entering Conseco Fieldhouse. First man he saw was his good, close personal friend, Jeff Foster. And certainly the complexion of this Pacer team changing. They lose an all-star in Miller, who's been a sensation in Sacramento, but still, here's Indiana with Foster now, giving that defensive touch, the rebounding touch inside, that aggressiveness at all times, and Indiana forging to a 50-17 record. Also enabling some of the other players on this very deep roster to get a little bit more playing time.
It was an interesting loss. I mean, it's one that even though you lose an all-star, you have an addition by subtraction, because with Jeff, you get extra possession. And he's one less guy that needs to shoot the ball, which I think with this team, with the kind of offense that it had, it almost kind of needed that. Now, I'm not saying that the Pacers shouldn't have tried to keep Brad Miller, because I think Brad Miller's a good player. The numbers didn't work, but Jeff really helped us. He gets extra possessions to the team, and defensively, he's a quick-footed defensive player as opposed to Brad, who's a precision defensive player, and that makes a difference in Rick Carlisle's defense.
Bibby, the quick release, and he has just got the hot hand going.
Got it going.
15 points for Bibby, and he is keeping the Kings' hope alive here in Indiana. We're midway through the third quarter, and the Pacers lead is 9. Indiana feels like an uncomfortable 9 points, as they have not seen yet the best of the Kings tonight. Miller on the run. There's Foster again in the middle of it. Looks to save, but they can't find a King's leg.
Can't find a Pacer to get it to, or a King's leg.
Here's the save, though, by Harrington, who finds Jermaine O'Neal. The Carlisle calling the play. Anthony Johnson now in release with Jamal Tinsley. Harrington looks to go to work, isolated, the spin on Stojakovic. Foster Duck was hoping there was a teammate in the corner. Now there's just 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Reggie Miller had to put it up quickly, so Reggie now heading to the bench, gets some rest, replaced by Fred Jones, who has had a terrific shooting touch of late. But right now, the Kings sense a moment of opportunity. He's got it under double figures. Now a chance to target even more. Weber is open, and there it is. So now the Kings starting to find their range.
And their offensive rhythm, because Bibby had it going. They ran that screen, started it to the right away from Weber. Weber ran it back to him, and Weber's defender, O'Neal, helped a little bit, and they threw it right to him at the top of the key.
Weber double-double, 16 points, 12 rebounds. He has matched the point total of Jermaine O'Neal. Harrington, quick release, and Brad Miller has the rebound, and the Kings with the ball again.
What a quick release. And he was like that this summer on the national team. He is a terrific shooter, and he is always on balance.
And the Kings are back in business. The torrid shooting of Mike Bibby going to town. He has hit 4 field goals here in this third quarter.
And he gets them a variety of ways. We said you got to play off screens. Bibby is the one guy we talked about. You have to use it. Very good stop and go, as I said, on balance. Very seldom takes a shot and looks like it's a tough shot because he gets his body squared and gets his body balanced, if you will, to the floor. A lot of guys, if they move left to right, tend to float left to right. He's not one that does that a lot.
6 straight points for the Sacramento Kings. 4 or 5 from the field for Bibby. Doesn't matter if he is guarded or not. He is getting the shot. So Rick Carlisle goes with Jonathan Bender. Speaking of shooting sensations in this ball game, you see that pad on his shoulder. He took a shot in that first half, trying to put the shoulder to one of the Kings defensively. Bender, perfect 6 of 6, 15 points in 9 minutes. First half action. Jones works through.
Nice little stop and go by Freddie on the screen and roll with Jermaine.
Last 7 games, Jones is at 17. Was 12 of 17 from the floor, 71%. Weber gets inside for the reverse.
I'll tell you what, he's got a bad wheel, can't get up and down the court.
And he's still has 18 as well. And right now, it's the 1-2 combination for the Kings, bringing him back. That's enough. Weber and Bibby. Stojakovic pulls up. And right now, the Kings are hitting everything.
You knew they were going to make a run out. I mean, the Pacers, this is just like when we talked about the two best teams. Here's where you just stay poised. You haven't been able to make shots. You don't try to do anything outside of your offense. Just let your offense get you back where you want to go. Fred made a mistake there. You got to turn the corner.
8 seconds to shoot, and another throwaway by Indiana. An opportunity for Sacramento to close the gap even more.
I surely wouldn't let Bibby get it. That's
For Stojakovic. And there's the miss, a rare one for Sacramento. But Stojakovic, 4-13 tonight. Pacers slows down on their offensive game. Harrington fights his way through, and that's the foul number 1 on Brad Miller. But when we return after this timeout, Pacers trying to steady the course, and Al Harrington will be at the line.
Small business owners don't like limits. Limits don't encourage, motivate, or inspire. So we're removing them. Introducing SEC Unlimited Long Distance Edition. Unlimited nationwide long distance for a flat $20. Doing small business differently. SEC.
Sacramento pulled it out 91-88. And now it's the Kings trying to wipe out a 17-point lead by the Pacers in that first half. Well, you can enter the ATA High Flyers sweepstakes and send a postcard with your name, address, and your phone number, plus your favorite ATA non-stop destination in the continental U.S. And monthly winners will be off to the city that they specify. Grand prize winners are off to Cancun. For more information, log on to foxsports.com, and the key word is Midwest. He's coming back without the shooting coach of Stojakovic. Even without Ron Artest, Stojakovic, a very rare evening. He shoots 48% from the floor, 4 of 13. It only has to be a scary thought for the Pacers because, you know, can catch fire sometime. Meanwhile, Al Harrington tries to put 2 up from the line. Harrington averaging 15 points a game over his last 3 and shooting at 62%. This is his 12th start. Pacers 9-2 with Al subbing for Vintage was suspended starter. Weber, and he has found the top. Weber now cannot miss. 4 of 6 in the second half, and 20 points for Weber. Jones flying in and up shooting.
real nice job using the rim to keep shot blockers away from the shot, driving on the right side, got it on the left side of the backboard and in.
72-67, Pacers holding on. Weber time and again getting open shots. This time delivers for Brad Miller. And again, it's a 3-point ball game inside the final minute of the third. Jones wrapped up by Christie, tries to get it back, and they get a jump off. But he had the ball for the moment, opting not to go for the timeout.
You see the previous offensive play, you see how he comes across the rim to get it up there with a touch. Now he's got to jump against Christie, who is actually a very good defensive player. Look at what Freddie's done here in this contest.
But Freddie perhaps opting not for the timeout, knowing as one of the great leapers in the league that he'll take this jump ball.
He may think he has a chance at it. He's got some long arms, but Fred's got, as you said, has good eyes.
See that vertical leap of 34.5 there, but it is won by Sacramento as the veteran 50 gets to his first hit jumper. 50 left inside and draws the foul. Austin Crozier just checking in. They'll call it on Fred Jones. Foul number 1 on Jones. Crozier, terrific. first half, 11 points in his 8-minute stint. Hitting 5 of 5 from the foul line, along with a couple of three-pointers. But Pippen has been the man. While the Sacramento Kings floundered with their shooting, it was Pippen who caught fire here in the third quarter. And slowly but surely, the Kings chipping away. Now they are just 1 point behind.
Well, it's such a good shooting team. You know it's going to come. It's got 38 in the first half, and you got to figure they'll get some good looks, and they're getting looks, decent looks in the first half. They missed them.
Then the Pippen and Weber show. They combined for 39 of the Kings' 71. Johnson for 3. Foster again cleans the glass. Frazier is there. And the Kings to go into the fourth quarter with the lead.
Man, it's just feeling like that was a foul. It looked to be that way, but oh, my goodness.
2 seconds. Foster gets it a whirl. And that is the end of the third quarter. A lead that was 117. The Pacers are just hanging on. It's a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter.
Now's the time to get great Toyota value. Like incredibly low 0% APR financing for 30.
In the NBA right now, the Pacers are 50 and 17. And the City, Sacramento 49 and 19, the best in the West. And the statistics, watching the numbers after 3 quarters, courtesy of St. Vincent Sports Medicine. The Pacers doing it in the paint. Field goal percentage is just about even after that hot start by the Pacers and the cool beginning by the Sacramento Kings. Kings outscoring Indiana 24-14 in the third. So the Pacers put up 58 points in the first half, come back with only 14 in the third quarter. Pippen with 10, Weber with 8, 18 points between the two of the 24 Sacramento points. So here we are in the fourth quarter, and the Pacers 17-point lead. Counting on Frazier again, who played so well early in the game.
Yeah, he got off stride on that one. I'm not sure exactly what he had hoped to do, but he had no chance to make the layup.
Kings have never led in this ballgame. They're trying to snap their longest losing streak of the season. It's 2. They have embarrassed in the first 2 games on this road trip in New Jersey and Washington.
Yeah, he cleared space on Jonathan with a jab step. Knocked it down. You can see even Stojakovic has his rhythm.
Anthony Johnson, Bender against Stojakovic. Does Jonathan have any magic left? Comes up short. And Stojakovic.
He's waving people out. He wants to take Jonathan.
Going by Jones. Push it. Pass breaking. Jones, coast to coast. And he shot it, and he fouled the offenders of Indiana Jones.
I mean, it's the one way Pacers are going to get a chance to get something going is to push it up the court. Because they're really struggling their half-court offense. Fred pushes it, sees an opportunity. Stojakovic puts a hand on him. Fred, with that strength, still able to get it up. And Fred will get another foul shot.
Violation on the part of Brad Little. So Jones brings the crowd to life after this comeback by the Sacramento Kings. Pacers back in front by 2. Take a look now. It's just straight over to Rockets. As they travel. He is now starting to warm up. The assist to Weber to buy the third. To go along with his 20 points and the 13 rebounds. All time at 75. Jones, blazes. Right now, Jones, Weber, and Stoyakovich up front. Gibby strikes again with the left hand no. And that was deflected by Miller out of bounds.
And the last possession, the thing that seems to happen is that you see right here is where the action is. As you can see, Stoyakovich just cut, and Chris Jones is right there. He never saw it. And that just can't happen. You can't allow any good offensive player to get a start to the basket.
Ray Jones chopped down again, so Jones is attacking the hoop and picking up the draw of one foul after the other. They call a foul on Gibby, so that it's up to 3 on Gibby. Things with a couple of fouls, Pacers with none. Sacramento one shy of that 50-win mark, looking to do it for the 4th consecutive season. And Fred Jones, who has been smoking with his shooting touch of late. And that includes 25 of his last 28 from the foul on 9 points to Jones. And the Pacers again by 2.
He may be the best player. Well, they got Friday and Weber and Brad Miller. They may be the best 3 big passing players in the league. And they're on the same team.
Johnson. Let's pull it back the other way. Different Sacramento team in the Wizards and Netshaw. Brad Miller gets the step. 10 points for Miller on the triple-double in his first game in the win against the Pacers in Sacramento on December 7th, a 91-88 thriller. Pacers tonight playing without Ron Artest, suspended 1 game for a forearm. Derek Anderson in the Portland game Wednesday. Haskins is out of control down the lane. And the ball goes back to Sacramento, but first a timeout. We are very tight with this Pico Field.
This is March Madness on wheels. That's what Tommy was doing. And I think that, whether he's going to figure it out or he's going to forget, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to support the Pacers and good foundation.
Yeah, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you very much.
Indiana with Jermaine O'Neal, Reggie Miller, and Jamal Tinsley now stepping on the floor in this 79-79 ball game. Miller, who's a tough game racer.
Reggie is such a blitz coming off that screen of Jeff Foster there. And both times we asked for Reggie, Reggie is very good, making that easy line with a strong finish.
To Foster, who's matched Brad Miller's total of 10 points tonight. Weber, the other team on him. The hot shooting Biggie. And Foster fights through the crowd. A double-double for Foster. 10 points, 11 rebounds. And Indiana looking to find a mission here. Miller steps out. Miller shoots. Right on line, but just short. Reggie has been delivering some 3-point daggers over the course of the last couple of weeks. That's the one who's to come here tonight. Lined up with that shot. Stoyakovich, baseline. This is Indiana foul.
Pretty well defended that time. Stoyakovich got to the rim, but before he got there, he ran into 2 faces.
81-79 Pacers. Against Portland the other night. Tight ball game. Pacers were down by 1 before they scored the last 10 points of the game. Held Portland scoreless for the last 5 minutes. Can they put that kind of speed against the best scoring team in the NBA in this Sacramento team? Weber now getting himself into some foul difficulty. Number 4 on number 4. That just tells part of the story. So Weber is just his 10th game back. 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 block shots, and body 6 and weight.
Well, that's what they're going to have a lot of thinking.
It's on Jermaine O'Neal. Okay, Jermaine having a few words with Chip Weber. Third foul.
I think Weber admitted to it. I think he admitted to kind of, making sure that this is off.
6.5 to go. Stoyakovich tries to go. Tinsley gets it in the hands of Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal on Weber. The shooter is off and running. Casey, several opportunities to open up to 4. And now the Sacramento Kings a chance to play. Miller
Somehow got that man. Jermaine was on that side. I don't think he wanted to get over the rim.
5-1. Well, Casey Ford runs to a 3-2, possibly the NBA Finals. Here we go. Tie ball game. The last 6 minutes. Tinsley has just lost sight of the basket tonight. 2 of 11, and he has missed his last 7. After being one of his sharpest shooting aces over the last 2 weeks. Weber versus O'Neal. Bibby taking it away. Now the Kings by 2. They cannot contain Mike Bibby. Timeout called by Indiana with 5:20 left. Points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 block shots.
Yeah, he took the monitor off in this game. So we got to get this.
1 of 2 for O'Neal from the foul line. That's his first point in the second half. And it leaves the Pacers 1 point shy. Weber from 20, and he rattles the rim.
It's the same play they ran on the other side. They just start the guard one way, he comes back the other. And because the guard is trailing, that time Jermaine helped again.
Sacramento only 5-4 since the return of Weber as his team looking to adjust.
See, they did switch. They put Brad on it.
Misses the dunk. Yes, but Jermaine O'Neal was ready to bury the ball. It could be the significant play of this game. So the Kings now an opportunity to open up to 5. It would be their biggest lead. But Foster says no. Harrington going, done. And the Pacers get it back down to 1.
It was really a good pass because what Jeff did was throw the ball out where only Al could get it. He could run it down.
This Pacer in double figures. Harrington with 10. That brings the crowd to life. Weber, no. Here's Indiana on the run. Tinsley leading the break. Tinsley.
Oh, yeah. Get it back.
15 on the shot clock. Everybody standing here at Conseco Fieldhouse. Reggie.
Oh, it's called Jermaine on a foul.
Well, that's a momentum buster. Referee stepping in, and the Kings get the ball back. We have a timeout. Title of the series. First visit this season for the track too tough to tame. NASCAR Next Shell Cup action returns to Fox Sunday afternoon at 1 Eastern Time. Pacers have 15 games to go before they hit the playoffs, but sellout crowd here getting a playoff game tonight. Mike Bibby, who has been the catalyst to this Sacramento comeback. Finding themselves here in Indy on this, what has been a long road trip. And Bibby just cannot be stopped.
He is just a load. He gets around the pitch. And that time, Jamal, I thought, was pretty close to him. Just so much confidence by young Mike Bibby.
23 points for Bibby.
Unfortunately, Jamal will shoot it.
Hippie is on the ball. Oh, a quick foul is called on Reggie Miller. There. Tinsley has now missed all 6 three-point attempts. The law of averages over the last 13 games, he's been shooting 45% from downtown. And Reggie cannot understand it. Second foul on the Pacers. Kings have 4, and here is another whistle against Indiana. It's on Foster. Third on Foster. It's only his first since his early 2 in the first quarter. Stayed over 2 minutes left. And Sacramento, an opportunity now to have a cushion, but Tinsley gets in there to grab it back.
Nice job, because he was on Bibby going away from the play and got a hand in on Chris Webber.
Quick hands by Tinsley, his third steal of the game, 14th by the Pacers tonight. Harrington goes to work, fade away. Oh, with authority.
Good lead. The opportunity was there. He read it.
87-86. Bibby gets his shot, and finally a miss, and there is Tinsley in front of Weber. Tinsley hustling it down. Reggie.
Take your time. Yeah, go right there. Just dump it. Oh, good play. Yep.
Harrington is in. But Sacramento has the basketball with the lead, with 1 minute to go. Weber calling for it. Fadeaway jumper. Tinsley trying to get the foul, and he does. It's on Brad Miller, but that right now 4-star for theatrics.
Oh, I tell you, big time. You'll see coming on the left side, see Jermaine O'Neal out of nowhere for a dunk. And this one is a gift. This is just a gift. You got to take it.
Hey.
Like I said, the bad break, you got to take the good break. That's a break. That's a gift, and you take it.
The only one who could be proud of that is Vlade Divac watching from the bench. That ties it up. Vlade's flop, which will someday work its way into the Hall of Fame. And Tinsley puts Indiana in front. The slam dunk by Jermaine O'Neal. The 2 foul shots, and Tinsley works hard to get those 2. 57 seconds to go. 91-88. Pacers kept Portland without a point the last 5 minutes. All they have to do now is keep the Kings without one for 57.5 seconds. On the floor for the Pacers, looking to dig in defensively. Harrington, O'Neal, Miller, Foster, and Tinsley. And the Kings on the offensive end are going with their heavy hitters. Weber, Stojakovic, Miller, Bibby, and Christie. Pacers have won 15 of the last 17 on their home floor. And Sacramento goes to work. Tinsley tries to attach himself to the hot shooting Bibby. Christie, the 3, and he's got it. The 5th option hits the basket, and the Kings by 2. Only his 2nd field goal of the evening. He had missed his last 6 shot attempts. And now the onus on Indy.
Hardly made a basket the entire night. Gets his bench up and making his 2nd shot of the evening.
And now Indiana will inbound.
A lot of time. I mean, there are a lot of possessions in this 47 seconds.
Harrington will ignite. Pacers have scored only 5 field goals in this 4th quarter. There is the timeout situation. Tinsley overdue. And we still haven't seen a Reggie 3. O'Neal gets in, and he ties it up.
Made a nice move in between a double team. Brad came late. Jermaine agile enough to get it up and in.
That's his 20th shot and his 21st point. After 16 in the first half, they've been difficult to come by for Jermaine O'Neal. Only his second field goal in the second half.
You see, he'll get the ball. He actually probably got grabbed, but Jermaine feels confident. He knows Brad is not going to jump to get to his shot. Able to get back to the middle. You got to stay with Reggie. And you see there, and then Jeff Foster tries the position in case there's a rebound. But Jermaine O'Neal on that one was very confident about his ability to put it in position to knock the shot down.
Tough twister as Jermaine O'Neal looked like the ball going down in a pinball machine. And the crowd standing, cheering. Just shy of 39 seconds to go. Pacers have not lost a season series this year. They need this win to get the split. Same was the case against Portland the other night. Jonathan Bender poured all 15 points into 9 minutes in the first half, but not heard from here in the second. And what's online tonight? The Indiana Pacers can move 2.5 games ahead of Sacramento in the race for the best record. Sacramento with a win would move just a half game back, would win 50 for the 4th consecutive season, and would have the tiebreaker against Indiana should they end up all even at number 1. That will only matter if these two teams face one another again this year. That would be in the NBA Finals. Brad Miller back in Indiana for the first time, and it comes down to the final minute. Weber. Oh, a quick whistle there. And they call it on Jermaine O'Neal, his 5th. Did not be a shooting foul. It's only the 4th on the Pacers, but they say
that's a shooting foul. Jermaine got lucky there. Well, he got it on the shoulder because he was shooting. But he's not normally the foul shooter in this situation.
7 of 11 tonight. And that puts the Kings in front. Over 71% from the foul line, 63% career-wise, and he cans the 2. And now Indiana will discuss as they look for the tying basket or the go-ahead 3. Haven't heard from Reggie. The family tragedy changed everything. He again grabbed hockey's greatest prize and became a champion. Chris Chelios, Behind the Glory, Sunday at 8 on Fox Sports Net. Well, down the stretch, Pacers certainly missing a Ron Artest in this situation. And now, Pacers need 2 to tie it, or 3 to go ahead. Indiana tonight, 3 of 17 from downtown. And Reggie Miller, who has provided the dagger in several games over the last 2 weeks, 0 for 5. Overdue from three-point land tonight.
Yeah, the Pacers make a good move. They bring Austin in, which means that Chris Webber's got to guard somebody that can score.
O'Neal gets in.
The question is, if they call that on, he's out. Done with Webber.
With only 24 seconds to go, the question, has he done enough damage already?
Speaking along the baseline, everybody's showing up. Got the to the top side over here, and you see Webber come. Now watch his arms. His arms are down. There's no question about the contact. I tell you what, I think Pacers got a break because I was surprised that they left him in the game. I thought that they would put Vlade Divac in for the defensive possession.
And he goes 43 minutes. That's his season high in the 10 games that he's played. 16 rebounds to go along with his 24 points and 4 blocks. And he scored those last 2 foul shots that separates these teams right now. And now O'Neal, pressure cooker situation, needs the 2 to get it back. Jermaine 4 of 6 from the line. Or check that, 3 of 6 tonight. Now you could say it.
No, Jermaine has been the guy that's been stepping up for the Pacers all year long. I don't expect anything differently from him at this particular moment.
92-91. The showdown between the Pacers and the Kings coming down to this. The final seconds. Nerves of steel. O'Neal buries the two from the foul line. And that is the last timeout for either team in this fourth quarter. Monday night at 7. Antonio Davis and the Chicago Bulls will make their first visit of the season right here at the Conseco Fieldhouse. And tickets are available at all Ticketmaster outlets, or just shop online at Pacers.com or ConsecoFieldhouse.com. Pacers tomorrow night will be in Memphis. 8 o'clock start. You'll be able to see on WB4 against one of the surprise teams in the NBA this year, the Grizzlies, on their way to their first playoff. Hubie Brown putting it all together in sensational fashion in Memphis. The Grizzlies a record of 42-26, and consider the fact last year their 28 wins seemed to be a marvel for the franchise.
Yeah, Hubie Brown has done a tremendous job there. There's just no doubt about it. So there'll be another tough task, is what you're saying, for the Patriots tomorrow.
And coming off of this emotional ball game, tied at 92. Last shot for the Kings. Pacers need to stop. Divac is on for the fouled out Chris Webber. Divac scored the winner in Sacramento back in December.
I like Jamal in this situation.
Gibby with a hot hand gets the screen.
Oh, my goodness.
With a second to go. No timeout.
Yeah, you got to get it up.
Foster lets it fly. And that is it. He's been hot all second half. And justifiably, it is Mike Bibby who puts the finishing touch on the Pacers tonight.
Boy, I mean, and the Pacers, he was well guarded on the play, but you're right. He just stepped up and knocked down a tough shot. Play they've been running almost all evening. Screen to one side, take it back to the other. You see Vlade on this side. Now he'll go back, and there's another screen comes from him there. You see Jamal challenges the shot. But as you said, Mike Bibby has been shooting the ball exceptionally well. Steps up and knocks down a big-time jump shot right there.
Dead, solid, perfect. He pours in 16 of his 25 points in the second half, including the winner.